welcome everybody to our LifeQuest Leadership Line. I have a very dear friend of mine, Dr. Peter Kevorkian from Massachusetts. And just a brief introduction. I think most people know Peter. Peter has been practicing for almost 40 years. We graduated, I believe we both graduated in 1981, didn't we, Peter?
Well, I graduated in 82.
82, okay.
You're a lot older than me.
Yeah, you can see on my hair or what I don't have in hair. Peter's got a long history in chiropractic. He's just done some amazing things. He's the past chair of the Sherman Board. He's the president right now of the ICPA. He lectures all over the world on chiropractic philosophy. Him and his wife, Patty, who was in school when I was in school, they run the longest standing chiropractic philosophy meeting in the USA, almost 40 years. The Massachusetts Chiropractic Alliance, and it's just incredible what he's done throughout the profession. Has a family practice, home office in Westfield, Massachusetts. Peter, welcome to the LifeQuest Leadership Line.
Great to be here, Ron.
Yeah, great to have you. Hey, so I know the world is going on right now, obviously, and Peter, it's really good to see your face because I haven't seen you in a bit. Tell me what's been happening. Let's do this. Let's just jump in. Tell me about the big picture. You're a philosopher, you've got your philosophy, a diplomat or whatever it is. Tell me, actually, I don't know if you have a philosophy diplomat, do you?
Oh, I don't. No, I've just been a big student of art philosophy literally since first quarter of Palmer College. So, yeah. But I've read the green books. I can't say every single one of them, but virtually all of them. Been a big, huge study at BJ and loved the philosophy forums and experiences. Never did the diplomat or the CCP, whatever they call it.
Well, you know what? When we stop practicing or stop being the president, we'll have to sit in on that course to keep our brains going, right?
There we go.
We might be 80 years old, but we can still do that. So just share with me, because I more than philosophy, it's really the wisdom. Like, where do you see the big picture? With this coronavirus world right now and the things that we're going through right now, and I don't want to give that a lot of power, but just tell me where you see the big picture with that.
Well, I guess the big concern that hits me, the coronavirus is, when we first heard about it, I said, it's just another virus. And it is just another virus. And, you can go all over the place with everything from conspiracy theories to biological warfare to 5G. I mean, I've seen the gambit of stuff. Putting all that aside, the bigger issue of concern in my mind is the level of fear and paranoia that really is impacting not just the Americans, but the entire world. And Stephen Porges offered a wonderful perspective of understanding the human experience in looking at our neurology and viewing the autonomic system not to be always reciprocal. Back when you and I were in school, we learned that when sympathetic function went up, parasympathetics went down, parasympathetics went up, sympathetics went down, and that it was a reciprocal phenomenon. Porges proposes that some aspects of the autonomic system, particularly mediated by the vagus nerve, are tandem. That basically vegetative functions of the dorsal vagal need to be satisfied. They become inhibited, allows us to have a sympathetic response, going to fight or flight. When that becomes isn't being engaged, when that is inhibited, then we can engage the ventral vagal system or what he called the social vagal system to build community, relationships, bonding, etc. When 9/11 occurred, there was a huge level of fear that impacted the planet, particularly the United States. And people went from their lives, their jobs, their church groups, their engagement into our culture, and moved into this sympathetic response of fight or flight. So basically their aspect of engaging in community came into this sympathetic place of, what do I do? And the way that we found solace, the way that we found healing in that was to come together in our churches, in our groups, in our organizations, to say we can come together to move together toward a resolve. The problem that I'm seeing with what's occurred with the coronavirus situation is people have gone from a sympathetic fight or flight into parasympathetic withdrawal, hopelessness, and like a turtle going into their shell. And as Porges explains in his work that you need to have a degree of safety. A turtle needs to feel safe to come out of their shell. And then you need to feel safe in your environment so you're not in fight or flight. And once you feel safe, that's when you build community. That's when you build relationships. What we did back in 9/11 and virtually every other serious threat that has affected us as a people is that we've come from fight or flight and found our solace in building community. But we have been asked to not come into fight or flight. We're actually going into withdrawal, where people are not engaging with one another. And they're not building bonds and relationships outside of their immediate home. They don't want to come out of their shell. And so my biggest concern with this is the level of physiological damage that's occurring to the human spirit, to the human nervous system, to the human physiology. Because as bad as the coronavirus may be, the damage that we are doing to our psyches and our physiology and the dysfunctions that we're going to be seeing over the next 6 months, 6 years, 60 years as a result of this time is going to be profound. Hence, I believe that chiropractors need to put on your seatbelts. Your practices, our practices, are going to explode. People are going to need us more than ever because there is nothing out there that creates within healthcare a degree of safety in a person being in their own physiology, in their own body, more than chiropractors do.
Absolutely.
Okay? And that really is grounded in our philosophical tenets that we know that healing happens from the inside out. Life happens from the inside out.
Right.
So if we really step back from this scenario and rather than us living in this state of fear, say, oh my God, what's going to happen in my life? But we come into this place of saying, well, what am I here to do? We're here to serve people. We're here to come from our heart. The thing that drove us to go to school was to be the best damn servant that we could be so that we could help bring healing into the world with this whole new idea and this whole amazing skill that we have with our hands.
Yeah, but
the world is going to need us more than ever.
Absolutely. But so there's two things here that I see, right? And it was beautiful how you laid it out, parasympathetic, sympathetic. And we really are, I don't want to say becoming complacent, but we are, going into our shell, at least the way society is right now. The setup is going there. The question is, there's something that we could do now, right, while this is still going on, and then there's something we could do afterwards too, right? So let's talk about those, your views on that.
So I think the step one, doctor, heal yourself. Do the things that nurture your well-being to care for yourself. And so as much as I'm recommending to patients, stay in your routine, eat good foods, be good in your relationships, stay connected with people, exercise, all of those things, do that for yourself. So you need to be doing what you want your patients to be doing. But immediately within practices, when I'm talking to a lot of chiropractors about this, because they're not seeing patients, some offices are closed. So some offices are seeing 20% of the usual volume. And yeah, the government may give us a little bit of aid, but still it doesn't replace the loss that we're taking at a pure economic level. Stay connected with your practice members. Stay connected via email, stay connected via text, stay connected with videos. I never sent videos to my patients, not formally. I do my little Facebook, weekly things, but we're actually, Patty and I are sitting down every week, usually twice a week, putting a little video together, 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but 5 minutes on self-care. Telling them, if you're going to watch, you can't tell people not to watch the news. You can't tell people not to be on their computers, but you can tell people, hey, if you're going to spend an hour on your computer or watching the news, spend an hour and 30 minutes doing something that's filling your brain with joy, that's filling your brain with love, with excitement, with laughter. And I believe that we need to be putting more energy into building the well-being of our body for every thing that we do that could be potentially destructive to it. And I don't even tell a group of chiropractors how important our thoughts are. So stay connected with your practice members. And we just started doing this. We're actually calling them. You got the time now. Pick up the phone, go through your list, go call everybody that has not been in since the shelter in place was given, who's been in person over the last few months, and pick up the phone and not to call them into the office, just to say, hey, Ron, this is Dr. Peter. Just checking up on you. You doing all right? Just to come from a place of, we're here. Okay. The goal in all of this is to bring a degree of, we are a stable point in people's lives. Like it, many of us don't realize that, but we are a huge anchor in people's lives, in their routines, in what they do. And we're gone. We're not existing in their life. Just a phone call. Yeah, I can't believe the number of comments I get on the texts and the emails that we send and the videos that we send. It's like, oh my God, it's so comforting to see you guys, and to see you guys are going through the same thing that we are. So stay connected with your tribe.
And
that is
easy too. I mean, seriously, for our viewers, just take an iPhone or whatever phone you have, record a video, and then just mass send it out. It's like, it doesn't have to be a production. It just needs to be something to stay in touch. But the interesting thing, Peter, that I see is this, and I can't tell you how many times I've said this to myself, maybe you have also, or maybe our viewers have. I know I have said, man, if I had more time, I would be exercising more, or I would be meditating more, or I would be doing this. And the truth is, we have time right now. And I'm not saying we have a lot of time, but we have time right now to be doing self-care, not just the self-care around coronavirus, spiritual care. To be able to just do the things that we know are right for us, so that we can then carry those forward, right? The habits, right? Do it for 21 days, carry those forward so that we can create that time as we move forward when we come back to our, whatever you want to say, our new normal is, right?
Ron, yes. And it sometimes is even harder to do it at times like this. It's like the person who retires and says, I don't know how I got all my stuff done, but when I was working, it's like when you create the vacuum, right? And you don't go through the process of creating the rituals within your life, it falls apart. I'll speak for myself. It is easier for me to stay in routine on days I'm in the office. Okay? My discipline is real. I get up in the morning, I do my exercise, do my meditation, do my journaling, take my shower, go in the office, see my patients, come out from the office, do a few minutes on the bicycle, have dinner with my family, I got my routine, right? You take that away, I can do that later. Well, later never happens.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Making the routine, and yes, this is a great time to do the projects. And I'll be honest with you, I was with my team and I said, this is a great time for us to plan marketing, et cetera. There's such a degree of uncertainty. We don't know. When are we going to do this? Can we do it in June? Can we not do it till September? Do we have to wait till next year? So uncertainty is the biggest aspect of this crisis that it really is shattering to people.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I agree with you, Peter. I agree 100%. But you know what? It's also, we can put certainty in.
100%.
What a way of certainty over. They always said stress is trying to control that which you don't have any control over, right? So I have control over the weather, so how can I stress over that? But I'll stress over it, right? But when we have control over things, that's the key, right? And being able to put certainty in an uncertain world.
Well, that's the key. The certainty, the only certainty we really have is today.
Yeah.
Today, okay? The only certainty that we have is right now. What can I do today to make Peter a better Peter? Okay, what can Ron do today to make Ron a better Ron? And everybody's going to answer that a little bit differently. Okay, for some people it's going to be dietary or exercise. For other people it's going to be meditation or journaling. For other people it's going to be planning and creating or writing music. But being certain about taking that step rather than feeling victimized.
Yeah.
The moment you feel like the puppy dog with the tail between your legs, all you want to do is crawl in a corner, put a blanket over your head, and say, I'm going to come out of my shell when the trauma's over. You're giving away your power.
That's right.
Even when the trauma gets over, you are giving away your power. And that is not expressing the human spirit.
Yeah.
The human spirit is about creation. It's about taking our ideas and building and being in that state of vibration in which we are giving out to the world. And chiropractic, what we want to do is give to the world. We want to give with our hearts. We want to give with our hands.
And I think you said it. You said the key, give with our hearts. Because, we can come out of our shell and be in anger. We can come out of our shell and protest and, and be totally sympathetic, right? Like way overboard. And that's not necessarily, the answer, right? That's not putting ourselves into ourselves. We have such a beautiful power that we can change the world, and you look at the people who have changed the world, and those are the ones that came from love, right? those are the Gandhis, those are the Martin Luther Kings, those are the Muhammad Alis, those are the Mother Teresas, right? And when you look at the ones who came from power, and force, who wanted to change the world, and I'll just say this, like, the Hitlers and the Mussolinis, and those who, it didn't happen. And I think that what you talked about coming out of the shell is, that retreat, so to speak. It is, the world isn't going to look different because they're not going to be different. They're still going to be in that place. It's beautiful. And Peter, what about now? Like what, so it's what we can do at this moment. But how about when our doctors are going back in their practices, right?
We need to accept. Nobody knows exactly what it's going to look like, but we have to accept the fact that practice is not going to be the same. I mean, right now, for the people who do come into my practice to feel safe, I wear a mask. I sanitize the table every single time. My rhythms and my routines are different. I usually have 100 stuffed animals in my office. They've all been taken out. As much of the upholstery has been taken out of the office. It's such a different experience for me. And we need to come to grips with the fact of the bigger pictures we are here to serve. We're here to create a safe space so that people can come into our practices and feel safe to receive our care, to hear our message, to begin to bring healing into their lives and into their families' lives. So we need to just first pull up the big boy pants, pull up the big girl pants, do the things that you need to do to recreate your practice, whether you're in practice 35 years or 3 months. We're going to need to make things different and accept that and find the different rhythms and routines. It used to take me, just a simple fact, it used to take me about 3 minutes to sanitize the table. Okay, it now can take me 20 seconds. Okay, literally. That's a huge difference in a high volume practice. I found my rhythm of how to do this thing so that I can get somebody off the table, sanitize the table, and the next person can be on that table and we can be serving, right? And be engaged in dialogue and conversation and connection with people as I'm going through that process. So develop those rhythms, or those procedures, and those protocols that are going to allow you to function within this post-COVID-19 era. Okay, it's going to happen. Part of those issues are also going to be financial. To come into a place where we may need to make modifications in our finances so that we can maintain the financial stability of our lives.
Can you give some examples of that? Things that might happen.
Yeah, to be more efficient and more prudent with your expenditures. One of the things I've done, Patty and I we're okay financially, but I said, let's look at a credit card bill and do we need to be spending that $5 a month? And it's not to cut back for myself, but if we're using it, we need it, then absolutely do it. But there's so many subscriptions that you can have right now that become invisible to you. And, you get busy in your practice. Oh, I'll cancel that another time. Oh, be prudent. Cancel that stuff. Literally, Patty and I went through our credit cards. I think we made like $500 a month in the process of doing it. And I'm not saying that you don't continue to contribute and offer resources to organizations and things that you feel are important within your life. But some things we've looked at and we've never really sat down and have a conversation about, do we want to continue to make contributions to that organization? Are we better to be putting it over here? Should we be giving it to our profession? Right. So to actually organize and again, people in different spectrums regarding their finances and how they manage it, but be prudent with that, not to cut back. One of the ways to grow is to be continually investing, but be conscious and intentional with the utilization of your financial resources to move you into positive places, rather than just being reactionary to things. Exactly. And very often we tend to do. Exactly.
Claudia Onward was on our leadership line. Her video went out last week, and she talked about it's a great time to start planning, right? Like set your plan. It's a reset, really, is what it is. And so take the time to reset and decide what things you want to look at. I tell you what, I came home from Costco a week and a half ago, right?
Don't cut back on toilet paper.
No. Couldn't find any. That was my problem. But I went there for toilet paper, and I came home with $350 worth of groceries, right? I brought meat, I brought this, whatever I did. I kind of come from that post-Holocaust era where, there's never enough, right? Kind of thing. And my wife looked at me and said, $350, what are we going to do with all of this kind of thing, right? I said, we're going to eat it, I guess we're going to eat it, right? That kind of thing. And then we just went to Sprouts the other day just to pick up one thing, right? And we ended up walking out with $150 worth of groceries, right? The interesting thing is this, the amount of money I'm saving right now by not going out to dinner, right? Not going to the restaurants, right? I can go to the restaurants and spend $150 on a meal with my wife, right? Kind of, it's just interesting the way our minds start wrapping around things, right? But it really gives good perspective. And we need to support our restaurants, and we need to support those people in their businesses, right? To make sure that we keep that support going. We've got to, I'm a big believer that if we don't filter money out, money's not going to come back, right? Right. And we have a great opportunity. We have a consciousness in chiropractic about abundance to be able to do that, right? We know the power of the body. We know how the body can heal. But it's just interesting to step back and see how things are changing, And I know you're doing some great things. Do you see changes, like ideas? Have you had any ideas of what your office might be doing just from what you've learned right now, going through this, this COVID, deal right now? What are you thinking for?
Well, my biggest comment to anybody who comes into the practice, and we've actually done this in a couple of the videos that we've shared, is we're putting a lot of energy, mental energy and physical energy into dealing with a virus. Let's start taking a lot of that energy and putting into bolstering our immune competence. And there's so many things that we can do to bolster our immune system. And we've said it as, yes, getting adjusted, no matter what anybody's going to tell you in chiropractic, getting adjusted helps your immune system, okay? We're going to say that. I don't need to say more about that. And we also make it okay. And if you're not feeling safe to come to the office, then at least look at your foods, the amount of sugar intake, look at the amount of alcohol that you're putting in your life, how much movement that you have in your life. All of those affect the competency and the resiliency of your immune system. Yeah. So there is nothing that is going to, it's not going to keep you from getting the virus if indeed the virus enters your body, but it is what the only thing that's really going to allow you to get over the virus. Yeah. And so that's where the conversation started. We begin to, when people come in, I throw right back on them rather than me lecturing. I said, what do you think of things that you could do to help your immune system? And people know. They say, oh, I probably shouldn't be watching the news as much. Yes, your thoughts play power. Well, I could probably not eat those French fries. Yes, what you eat makes a difference in your immune system. Well, I probably should go for a walk rather than driving. Yes, movement makes it. So I mean, allow people to uncover in those things and to reinforce them and to just like raising children. Yeah. So continually do those things and have the conversation, but that then filters into our communities. I'm anxiously awaiting the opportunity for the shelter in place to come to start doing talks, lunch and learn talks and dinner talks and organizations to talk about bolstering your immune competence. Yes. We're not going to make coronavirus is not going away in May, June, July, or anytime this year or next year or 10 years from now. It's going to be around a long time. So let's utilize that to our resource to allow people to see a different perspective. To have recognized that trying to kill a bug is impossible. You're not going to kill a bug. What you can do is allow the immune system to learn about it. Yeah. Allow the body's immune system to adapt to the environment.
And you said something interesting, Peter. You said that, you're doing these videos to your patients and stuff. And I think that all of us know that the patients want to come in. They understand. But the people who are holding them back are the families, sometimes who aren't coming in, right? Like, why are you going there? How can you do that? It's not safe. There's other people there, that stuff. So it's almost like we could be doing talks, like live Facebook Lives or whatever, with our patients and their families. Not saying why it's safe to come in, but sharing the same story, and being allow people to feel more comfortable within themselves. Once again, that you can't go out is more of that sympathetic, fight or flight kind of a thing. And it's just fear, right? So that's a great thing too, but
chiropractors need to recognize the chiropractic story is not about getting adjusted.
That's right.
The chiropractic story is about recognizing that life happens from the inside out, that it's about life expressing itself to its fullest, and to strive as a responsible steward for your physiology. What interferences can you take away so that this physiology can express itself to its fullest? Okay, the adjustment just is a logical conclusion to that, but people have the story of chiropractic fits into every other aspect of their lives, from what they eat and the kind of rest they get, to the relationship that they have with their kids, to how they raise their kids, to how they interact with at their jobs, how they make decisions to their jobs. All of those things come back into the fundamental roots of our philosophical ideal, our chiropractic story. So we can tell the story without having to tell people that you need to get adjusted.
Peter, we could go on forever. I mean, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I mean, it's just beautiful what you said. And I know that our viewers are going to take away a lot from what was said today. And I hope, it's my hope that, because the reason we're doing these videos are so that we can give back and we can keep connection with our viewers, right? So that they can hear different people that they might not, hear every day or whatever. But it's just such a beautiful thing. And I think that there's a lot of great, just great drops of wisdom that we can do. And I hope that our viewers are writing down just a few things. Just take 3 diamonds out of this, just to do, from what Peter talked about today. And if you incorporate them, I think that you're going to see a big shift happening within yourself, of course, and then that will just emanate out. But thank you, Peter, for being with us today. Thank you for all you do for chiropractic. And of course, thanking Patty also. I just really appreciate you.
One thing to say, and thank you, Ron, for your leadership, for carrying Life West to its place of excellence that it needs to be, and for doing this. I think these little talks are awesome. That,
they are.
Chiropractors engaged.
I'm hoping we're out of this shelter in place soon, so we're not sending these out all the time. But I think we're going to continue to do them. We just won't do them maybe at the frequency that we're doing them. But once again, it was something that came out of what's happening right now, and we just adapt, right? It's always adaptability. So to our viewers, thank you, Peter. To our viewers, we'll be coming back with another video. Please just, Peter, how can people get in touch with you?
Oh, God.
They just want to say hi, want to say thank you.
Well, okay, my email, Peter, KDC, Peter, letter K, DC, Doctor of Chiropractic, @gmail.com. Peter K, DC. That's the easiest. You get in touch with me through ICPA. You Google me, you can get it, my office website, my personal website. But drpeterkevorkian.com works too.
Perfect. We'll put those down below. My producers will do that. And if you could just shoot a thank you, because Peter, thank you, man. Keep the energy flowing, keep the love flowing. I love the turtle. And I think it's okay to retreat, but we have to come out and be.
You got to come out of the shell. Amen.
Exactly it. So for our viewers, love and appreciate every single one of you. Live your life from above down, inside out. Make sure that you love the people around you. Stay safe and keep spreading the love and keep spreading the message of chiropractic. We'll see you the next time we send out a leadership line. Thanks again.